Well, that was not great. But at least the Avs don't have to face Marc-Andre Fleury for over a month now. Avs lose the Vegas Golden Knights 3-0.
Oh my goodness gracious! Wasn't it time? Score! Justice is served!
Look, I think this game was pretty straightforward. The Avs didn't bring their A game, and Vegas outplayed them for the most part. That isn't to say it wasn't good enough to beat quite a few teams. The Avs just also ran into a ridiculously hot goaltender. The first 15 minutes of this game were pretty awful for the Avs. They got soundly outplayed, Vegas dominated possession, and the Avs were just getting worked in every sense. It was pretty clear that, I didn't want to say the Avs were fully off, but they weren't quite on either. Plays weren't connecting cleanly, opportunities that could have been goals ended up having something just a touch wrong with them. A puck rolls off a stick. You know it, you've seen it. It's pretty much to a T. They don't have their A game. They're close, but it's not there. They did pick it up a little bit near the end of the first to make the period at least look a bit more even on the whole, but honestly, Grubauer bailed them out in the first period. Grubauer played great to keep it a 0-0 game through one. That would run out pretty quickly in the second period, though, as the Avs give Vegas their second power play opportunity of the game, and they get burned on this one. Okay, completely unrelated to this actual goal, I just found out why Altitude's video footage appears to be a second behind the audio footage. Check this out. So this is from the low camera angle, and you can clearly see William Karlsson is beyond the circle in the center of the ice, the blue face-off circle right there. Clearly has both feet beyond it. When you go forward just a little bit here, you see it cuts to the high cam. In the high cam, Karlsson is well inside of that circle. So I don't know what's going on with Altitude, but for some reason, their high camera, which they spend most of the game on, is a good 1 to 2 seconds behind what's actually being recorded from the other cameras in the audio. Very strange. Anyway, on to this actual goal. Avs on the PK. It's a pretty standard entry. Vegas does a good job of getting 5 players wide here. The only one not entering the zone with speed is Pietrangelo. So they get across quickly, and it falls apart almost immediately for the Avs. The Avs have 3 back, Comfer being the high forward. Pretty normal, pretty standard for a zone entry, but they kind of just get beat here. Jost does a weird step up, which is problem number 1. Takes him out of the play entirely as he tries to intercept the pass, but just fails almost entirely as Tuck just blew right past him. And then it's already too late for Graves. Graves needed to be in position well before that pass comes through to be able to do anything about it. He's too slow. Tuck blows right by him and then just puts a good move on Grubauer, gets his body going across the crease but holds the puck to that far glove side. Grubauer bites on the body and gets beat on the glove side. Honestly, that sums up the game and the rest of these goals to a certain extent pretty well. The Avs just seem to be lacking their legs a little bit tonight. Not a ton. You know, Graves has never been a great skater, but he didn't have the legs to get to where he needed to be before it happened, and you'll see there are issues with that on the defense throughout the rest of the game. That isn't to take away from the Avs tonight either, because I don't think they played awfully. The defense did struggle a bit, but the Avs, at least their top 6, generated a number of high-quality opportunities. They just couldn't cash one in. As I mentioned, some of their plays were just not quite perfectly connecting, and on the other hand, Marc-Andre Fleury just played out of his mind and stopped all of the high-quality opportunities. The bigger problem for me was the bottom 6 in this game. The Avs bottom 6 just needs to find a way to produce somehow, some way. I don't care who it is. Someone has got to do it. In games like this one, where the top 6 is just getting robbed by the goaltender, way too many one-and-done opportunities, you have to be able to grind out a goal, and the Avs bottom 6 just isn't doing that. And all of these small issues kind of added up to a death by paper cuts for the Avs in this game. The lack of possession leads to bounces for Vegas, and the second goal goes their way just about 4 minutes after the first. So, I want to start by saying this is fine defense. It's not great, but it's not terrible. But it struck me as odd, because this is Cale Makar, one of the best skaters certainly on the Avalanche, if not in the entire league, and he has quite a gap to work with through the neutral zone on Alex Tuck here, but by the red line you can see Tuck has already closed that gap significantly, and As much as it might be a skating error, it may also be a decision-making error as Makar sits going backwards here instead of committing to the turnaround and skating hard, and that ultimately ends up costing him as he can't intercept the pass. It does float off to the side, but Tuch now level with him because Makar committed to the puck. It kind of goes on from there. Tuch is able to get around him outside, doesn't get a fully clean lane to the net, but gets enough room that he can cut in somewhat and get a shot off. Now, Grubauer's never going to give up a goal on a shot like this, but Tuch manages to create a rebound, and then the luck just doesn't go the Avs' way. Byram crashing the net to look exactly for this rebound. Unfortunately, it springs right out off of his skate and directly into the net. Again, not terrible, but the Avs just didn't quite have their A game, right? It's super rare to see Makar get beat to the outside like that. Honestly, you could feel the game was probably over at that point even, but 5 minutes later, another weird kind of play from the Avs, and Vegas pretty much seals it. Once again, Cale Makar here, he's at the end of his shift. He's just exhausted at this point, so I can't fault him too much, other than, again, a bit of a weird decision-making spot here. Makar stuck in his own half of the ice, a circle back by Vegas, and you get a half commit. Makar heads towards the bench, certainly looks like he wants to change. I can't tell if that's Sam Girard or not, but I think it's Sam Girard it's the guy next to him. I'm not sure who that is. Tries to jump onto the ice for him, but Makar, after already basically committing to a change here, recognizes the play is going up the ice quickly, so he gives up on the change and tries to double back. Now, it's too late at this point. This fate was probably sealed the second he decided to go towards the bench. It wouldn't have mattered if it was him or whoever's jumping onto the ice for him. He's just way too far behind this play as Vegas is skating up the ice. And again, Avs getting beat in the race up the ice. It's not great for the Avs. 4-on-3 here if you look deep, but a little bit caught, a little bit confused here as Belmar doesn't recognize that Makar is behind and out of the play, so both him and Byram commit to the puck side, leaving, that's not good defense. Look at that wide open, just a ridiculous amount of space for Marchessault to walk into, and even then, he just immediately fires. If Grubauer had made this save, Marchessault definitely kicking himself for not using all this space he had to walk in on Gru. But Gru lets one slip through him. Has not happened much this year, but that one felt a little soft. Avs kind of just didn't have it in this game. The closest they would come in the third period to scoring was hitting a post for the 20th of those on the season, and 3-0 is your final. On the one hand, it's certainly a missed opportunity. The Avs could have completely closed the gap to Vegas for the top spot in the Western Division. On the other, you kind of shrug this one off. The Avs split with Vegas 2-2 in this series. They played 2 of those games down a significant number of players, and the games they lost, both of which they got completely goalied by Marc-Andre Fleury. Plenty to improve on, as I already mentioned, but that's not a terrible hockey game. If you don't have a wicked hot goalie in net, the Avs top 6 scores 2 or 3 goals in this game, and they probably beat a weaker team. But it takes consistency to really be a champion. Definitely something the Avs are still working on, and something they're going to need to figure out because it is going to be a sprint of games through the rest of the season. On a better note, I criticized the reffing heavily last game. This game, I thought it was fine. Not perfect. There were definitely missed calls on both sides, but there wasn't too much of anything crazy egregious. Yeah, they missed a call late where Marchessault tries to hit Byram in the back of the knee, and then Byram ends up getting the retaliation call, which is a thing you always see happen. But the game was out of reach at that point. You just didn't want anyone to get hurt. Ref's just trying to control the game at that point, so not too worried about that. On the whole, I was pretty okay with how this game was called. McKinnon, however, not very happy about it on a play in the corner where it looked like he kind of just lost an edge and fell down. To me, personally, I don't think it was a penalty. He certainly thought it was and wanted to show the ref. He goes, "Look how he checked me, ref. He went like that. Cross-checked me right in the back." Look, the Avs got that out of the way. They now have a long run of weaker teams coming at them, and they're healthy. This is where things get important. This next month or so stretch is where the Avs need to go on a winning streak. So hopefully that's coming for them, and they're ready next time Vegas shows up. That is the end of this game video review. Thank you for watching. I am Rudo, and the Avs have officially reached their quota for getting goalied. No more of that.
Avalanche named the dog and gave it big. The fun isn't over yet, it is Avalanche time.